The first thing people noticed was the silence. Not the peaceful kind, but the heavy kind that sits in your chest when something precious is about to slip away. The old mechanic's hands were shaking as he wiped grease onto his torn trousers, staring at the small wheelchair parked beside his broken-down shop. Inside it sat a little girl with wide, hopeful eyes that had learned far too early how to hide pain. He had nothing to offer her except time, stubborn hope, and a promise no one else believed in. Yet somewhere between rusted tools and silent prayers, a miracle was about to be born. And by the time her mother realized what this poor man had done, she would fall to her knees in tears. The mechanic's name was Daniel Carter. He lived in a cramped apartment above his failing garage, surviving day to day on barely enough money to keep the lights on. His hands were rough, his back permanently bent from years under engines, but his heart was gentle, especially with children. One rainy afternoon, a sleek black luxury car broke down outside his garage, an absurd sight among the rusted vehicles and cracked pavement. From the car stepped a woman whose presence seemed to dim the world around her. She was elegant, exhausted, and holding back something much heavier than frustration. Her name was Evelyn Monroe, a billionaire CEO known for her strength in boardrooms and ruthlessness in business. But today, none of that mattered. What mattered was her daughter, Lily. Lily was 9 years old and paralyzed from the waist down after a tragic accident 2 years earlier. Doctors had tried everything. Specialists from around the world had taken Evelyn's money and given her nothing but complicated words and shrinking hope. Lily watched quietly as Daniel fixed the car, her fingers tracing invisible patterns on her blanket. When Daniel smiled at her and asked about her favorite cartoons, something shifted. It wasn't pity in his eyes, it was warmth, real warmth. Over the next few weeks, Evelyn kept coming back, always with an excuse. Another strange noise, another minor issue. In truth, Lily asked to return. She liked Daniel. She liked how he listened. One day, while Lily watched him work, Daniel noticed how she winced when shifting slightly in her chair. He asked gentle questions. She answered honestly. He listened carefully. That night, Daniel couldn't sleep. He remembered his late wife, a physical therapist who believed the human body was capable of more than medicine admitted. He remembered the notebooks she left behind, filled with handwritten exercises, experimental methods, and sketches of devices meant to help rebuild nerve response. Most people would have thrown them away. Daniel kept them, and now, for the first time in years, he opened them again. He began building something in secret, using scrap metal, old bike parts, and pieces from abandoned machines. Daniel worked late into the night. His hands bled. His back screamed. But his heart refused to stop. When Lily came again, he casually asked if she wanted to try something fun. Evelyn hesitated, suspicious, protective. But Lily's eyes lit up. What Daniel built wasn't magic. It was a crude but carefully designed support frame combined with movement exercises that encouraged muscle memory and nerve stimulation. Slowly, carefully, painfully, Lily struggled. She cried. Daniel encouraged. He never pushed too hard. He never promised too much. Let's just try, he would say. Weeks passed. Then, one afternoon, Lily felt something she hadn't felt in 2 years. Pressure. A spark. She gasped. Daniel froze. Evelyn thought it was another false alarm, until Lily began sobbing and laughing at the same time. Mom, I felt my foot. Evelyn dismissed it at first. She'd been disappointed too many times. But Daniel insisted on continuing. Every session brought small changes. A twitch, a stronger response, a movement that wasn't there before. Until one day, with Daniel holding the frame steady and Evelyn watching with her hand over her mouth, Lily stood. Not for long, just a few seconds. But it was real. Evelyn broke. She collapsed onto the concrete floor of that poor garage, sobbing uncontrollably, clutching Daniel's oil-stained hands like they were the only solid thing left in the world. All the power she held, all the wealth she commanded, it meant nothing compared to this moment. Why, she cried. Why would you do this for us? Daniel's voice was quiet. Because someone once believed in my family when we had nothing. And because hope shouldn't belong only to the rich. News spread quickly. Doctors examined Lily and confirmed it. Her progress was real. Not guaranteed, not easy, but real. Evelyn offered Daniel more money than he had ever imagined. He refused most of it. Instead, he asked for help building a proper rehabilitation center, one for families who couldn't afford miracles. Years later, Lily walked onto a stage without a wheelchair, holding Daniel's hand. Evelyn watched from the front row, tears streaming down her face again. This time not from pain, but from gratitude. The poor mechanic never became famous. He never wanted to be. But in one broken garage, with no money and endless heart, he proved that miracles don't come from wealth or power. They come from compassion, persistence, and someone who refuses to give up on another human being. And if you ever wonder whether one small act can change a life, remember the sound of silence before a miracle begins.